This is KIMA TV, Channel 29, Yakima.
From Central Washington's television news leader with Ken Crockett and Heidi Tauber, this is KIMA NewsBeat at 11.
Good evening. Ken Crockett is on vacation. Wildfires are blackening thousands of acres on both sides of the Cascades tonight. In the Olympic National Park, a fire that burned more than 1,000 acres continues to rage out of control, and park officials say it promises to become the largest fire in the park's 47-year history. So far, the blaze has cost more than $500,000 to fight. Lightning is responsible for more than 40 fires east of here in the mountains, and another 24 fires are burning on the Colville National Reservation forest. Some areas are being evacuated tonight. The growing fire hazard throughout the state has prompted some forest product companies to close timberlands to the public. Both Scott Paper and Weyerhaeuser have halted woodcutting on their lands. One Yakima cannery is being carefully monitored by the Department of Ecology. Pollutants dumped into the Yakima River by Snokist's Terrace Heights facility may have to be discharged elsewhere. NewsBeat's Daryl Romaine has that story.
The green color of the wastewater contrasts sharply with the blue of the Yakima River. The discharge caught the eye of Dave Blagg last week while he was searching for a fishing spot.
And we noticed there was foam amongst green stuff floating down the side of the river when we were walking along it. So we followed it up to here where, it's being pumped into the river.
The Department of Ecology has been alerted to the situation and was down on the river this morning to take samples of the discharge. DEQ Waste Inspector Dom Reel says Snokist has a permit to discharge the water, and they routinely do so. Snokist monitors the discharge, and company officials said the total suspended solids were within the permissible level. They attributed the green color to a temporary algae growth.
I believe that's what it is we're seeing in the green liquid that's coming out. It's not a sludge. It is staying in solution.
The DEQ will test samples taken at the discharge, but some area residents say the wastewater is already a problem.
It sure is a terrible stink. Like I was telling this lady here, of a night my wife can't even sleep. She gets up and sits in the chair till her stomach gets settled.
It will take a few days to analyze the wastewater samples, but the DEQ said Snokist had one of the best wastewater treatment facilities in the industry.
As far as the permit limitations themselves and as to whether or not we're really being protected, that's a question that I suppose we have to take up with Congress.
That's because Congress sets clean water standards. This is Daryl Romaine reporting for NewsBeat.
Everett may be the new home port for a group of battle Navy ships. A spokesman for the Navy's Sandpoint base in Seattle says an announcement is expected tomorrow on whether the Navy will base more than a dozen ships at Everett or Seattle, or perhaps nowhere in the Puget Sound. The decision is based on the Navy's study of a final environmental impact statement on the battle group. However, Congress has the last word on the location of the fleet, which is led by the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz. Court arraignment was held this morning for a Yakima man accused of possessing and trying to sell cocaine. Tracy Moorhead appeared before Judge Cameron Hopkins, where he was read charges of possession of a controlled substance and conspiracy to deliver the drug. Moorhead is being held at the Yakima County Jail on $2,000 bail. Today, Hopkins set a trial date of October 14th for Moorhead. Also this morning, Enrique and Pedro Espinoza made a brief court appearance, but arraignment for the pair was rescheduled for Friday. County Sheriff's detectives say both will be charged with possession and intention to deliver cocaine. They're being held on $1,500 bail each. Federal more than 50,000 students were given an extended summer vacation today as teachers in 4 states stayed away from the classrooms, bargaining for better contracts. The biggest city hit so far is Flint, Michigan, where 31,000 pupils were held out of class. Talks at 2 of the nation's biggest districts continue, aimed at averting walkouts next week. Teachers in Chicago and Philadelphia are bargaining for new agreements. Today in the nation's capital, the head of the country's largest teachers association condemned the hiring of unqualified instructors.
Okay, I will do that. We do illegal. We believe that they're economically unsound, and we all. NEA wants an excellent teacher in every classroom. Our nation must insist on the highest standards for teacher preparation and practice. The hiring of untrained teachers makes a sham out of efforts to improve the teaching profession. And we will not accept any relaxation of standards that will open the floodgates for toning down other educational standards.
Federal immigration officials in San Diego say they've cracked an illegal adoption ring. Authorities say the baby smuggling ring may have sold 200 infants to American couples over the last 2 years at $5,000 a baby. The INS commissioner says the ring provided babies to a number of couples, primarily in the Midwestern and Northwestern United States. Harold Ezel of the INS says parents were provided with counterfeit birth certificates and adoption papers. Officials say the infants were smuggled through an unlicensed halfway house for unwed Mexican mothers in Tijuana, Mexico. Across the Atlantic in Britain today, 5 Boeing 737s were ordered grounded after engine cracks were found. The Pratt & Whitney engines are the same kind used in the jets that exploded in Manchester, England last week. After today's order, some travelers had to endure delays of up to 6 hours as mechanics conducted the engine inspections. The United States has followed the British lead. Airlines must check Pratt & Whitney engines used to power their carriers. The company itself has recommended that airlines around the world examine all 15 models of that engine, which is one of the most widely used in the world. Many airlines that use an FAA-approved maintenance program are exempt from the order. NASA says one spacewalk just isn't enough, so it's ordered another. Officials have added a second EVA, or extravehicular activity, for Discovery's astronauts to repair a crippled satellite. That means the shuttle will probably have to make a rare pre-dawn landing, bumping the Monday landing to Tuesday. Mission planners had hoped the repairs could be made in Saturday's scheduled spacewalk, but they've added one more for Sunday because ground tests showed that the shuttle's crippled robot arm could not work fast enough to complete the repair job in just one day. Yesterday, the crew successfully launched a satellite for Australia. Just ahead on NewsBeat, a look at the nationwide slump in hard liquor sales, and too many potatoes have created an overabundancy for Washington growers.
Something great is coming to the big wheels, Comanche, the new pickup from Jeep. But first, we've got to move out our remaining 85s. Every Cherokee, Grand Wagoneer, and American Eagle is clearance price to move fast. Plus Renault with 8.5% financing. Look for the yellow Move-It tags at the big wheels and get the deal of the year while we make room for the new truck of the year, Comanche. See your big wheels dealer today.
Ray Chalet Drug is here for you. Sure, we have a pharmacy that can fill your needs and an excellent greeting card selection plus gift items. But we have more, much more. Service is our trademark, with extras like a U.S. Sub-Post Office vehicle license sales counter, Pacific Northwest Bell, and Pacific Power and Light Bill paying station. All these and more at one convenient location, Ray Chalet Drug. You can count on us at 56th and Summit View.
Ordered to pay 27 area farmers more than $500,000. Lyle Kilthau sold local Jerusalem artichoke seed to growers, which failed to produce a crop. NewsBeat's Daryl Romaine updates that case.
Lyle Kilthau, seen here in a previous court appearance, has appealed Superior Court Judge Cameron Hopkins' default judgment in favor of the state. The judgment came in the Attorney General's consumer protection lawsuit against Kilthau. It charged him with misrepresenting the market for artichokes when he sold the seed to 27 area growers in 1983. Today, Kilthau's attorney asked the court to defer further proceedings until the appeal is decided, but the motion was turned down. Judge Hopkins ruled that Kilthau should pay $506,000 in restitution to the 27 growers, a civil penalty of $216,000, and attorney fees in excess of $4,000. But the affected farmers will have to wait for their money.
It is going to be a while, and it's going to require some patience because, you know, now the legal part of it has been done. We're confident that our judgment will be upheld on appeal, and now it's just a question of time. All of our resources that are available in Eastern Washington are going to be used to attempt to collect this money as quickly as we can.
Flynn says the Attorney General's office will locate Kilthau's assets and sell them off. He says the appeal will not preclude the state from seeking collection, but Kilthau's attorney says the appeal will eventually stop the process.
We expect that the results of the appeal will be that the Court of Appeals will reverse the judgment and grant to Mr. Kilthau and A&W Seed Corporation the opportunity to present their case in court before a jury.
Yet Abeda says he doesn't look for the appeal to be heard for at least 12 to 18 months. This is Daryl Romaine reporting for NewsBeat.
The vegetable market is sprouting with an overload of potatoes. In fact, there's such a glut that some Washington growers are refusing to dig up their crop. As NewsBeat's Dana Wagner reports, spud growers consider this one of their worst years on record.
A good crop of potatoes sits on the ground, waiting to be harvested. Potato harvesting equipment sits idly by, but it doesn't look like the tractor will be pressed into action. There's a glut of potatoes on the market, and this grower can't afford to dig his crop.
You're just barely getting the digging back, and you aren't getting anything for the cost of production.
What does that mean to a farmer like you?
Well, I would say probably a $200,000 loss at the minimum.
Last year, Wayne Larson received $140 to $150 an acre for his Norgold spuds. This year, he says he's lucky to get $5 a ton. He blames overproduction and good crop yields on the abundance of potatoes. He doesn't see any relief in sight.
It makes you wonder if it's worthwhile farming. And it means that you're going to have to really talk good to your banker next year in order to get any money to farm with. Because when you take this kind of a loss, it's going to be hard to recuperate. In fact, I'd say it's the worst market in history.
Larson is hoping a National Potato Board advertising blitz will help, but he doesn't figure that will have any impact this year. He says simply, there's just too many potatoes. I'm Dana Wagner reporting for NewsBeat.
Americans are still drinking alcohol, but beer and wine top the list as opposed to hard liquor. Recent figures from the State Liquor Control Board show a drop in sales for whiskey, vodka, and the like. NewsBeat's Tracy Harris reports on the trend in this area.
Traditionally, hard liquor drinks have been the backbone of business for most bars and lounges in Yakima. But a new trend has taken over. Drinkers are turning light.
People are getting away from hard liquors and trading those off into lower spirited wines and beers.
Especially popular this year are wine coolers, and 3 bars we talked to say they have increased their stock of imported and domestic beers. Better health awareness has been mentioned as a push behind turning away from the hard stuff, but the threat of breaking the law is also a consideration.
The concern for the drunk driving laws which has been promoted by MAD and by SAD and by the television commercials for don't drink and drive, a real social concern nowadays that people are starting to respond to.
Lower sales figures have also been reported at Yakima's 3 state liquor stores. Although no projection has been set, the slower business could end up hurting the state budget because of lower liquor tax revenues. But business owners say they will meet the public's demand.
We'll come up with whatever product people want. If they want to drink a lower spirited or a non-spirited drink, we've got the product that they might want to choose. We'll go whatever direction they want.
This is Tracy Harris reporting for NewsBeat.
The local housing authority is changing the face of public housing in Yakima. Cramped multi-unit buildings may no longer be the norm. NewsBeat's Melissa Mills reports on the Housing Council's plans for 11 recently purchased lots.
This is the shape of things past. Big housing developments clustered on one lot with plenty of units and not much privacy. But the shape of things future should be pretty much like the houses in any neighborhood. With $1.2 million, the Yakima Housing Authority has bought and will develop 11 lots around the city. Instead of a housing development, they will build small 2- and 3-bedroom units. Director Bill Burris says the idea is to build homes instead of houses.
We get better results with the tenants. They take care of the places. We can assign areas of responsibility, and they take care of them better. Plus, number one, they fit better in the neighborhood.
Burris noted that a few experimental homes have worked out well, blending into neighborhoods with no controversy and a high rate of satisfaction. Burris also notes a lower concentration of people in any given place is better for the community.
Because people get lost in the community they live in, they get lost in the neighborhoods. They don't stand out like large developments. And I don't mean just public housing, large development, but any large complex is easier to identify than a single-family structure.
And what kind of problems do you usually see there?
With the larger units? Anytime you get more people together, you're going to have human problems, just natural problems.
Burris says the council hopes to bring the rate of vandalism and vacancies down with their new proposal, and that if it works, it could be expanded to other lots in the future. Floor plans, design specifications, and building contracts are now in the works. Construction on the new public homes will begin in the fall of 1986. Melissa Mills reporting for NewsBeat.
Turning to weather news tonight, Tropical Storm Elena could become Hurricane Elena by tomorrow morning as it gains strength over the Gulf of Mexico. Its winds are now being clocked at 55 miles an hour as it moves towards southern Florida. These pictures were taken at Key West this evening, and few seem to be too concerned early on. But residents are being told to be ready for quick action. 2 Cuban provinces have also reportedly been put on alert. No such news for our area. We're looking for a beautiful day tomorrow. A nice night it is out there now as well. And in sports tonight, the big news is from New York and the U.S. Open.
Gather round the beer fans, I'll tell you about a brew, a beer that tastes real fine, comes in cans and bottles too. It's priced to suit your wallet, so when you got a thirst, pick a beer just made for drinking, reach for premium Heidelberg.
For a limited time, 12-pack cans of premium Heidelberg are extra specially priced at many retail outlets. Stock up and save on Heidelberg 12-pack cans today.
Everybody knows Vista sells for less money, Bob. Let me show you. 78 Chevrolet 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive, $47.95. 1981 Pontiac Phoenix, $29.95. 1979 sports car, $25.95. 82 Ford Escort, $34.95.
Jack,
81
Jack, the place is on
$32.95.
You got a fire in
Fire at Vista?
Yeah.
Let's have a fire sale then. $1,000 off every one of these cars, even more.
You ought to have the courtesy to wait till the fire's out for the fire sale.
Don't leave town, because you'll miss the first ever Ennis Drexel Heritage Labor Day 25-hour sale. 25 hours of 25 to 50% savings on living, dining, bedroom furniture. 25 hours of savings on lamps, pictures, accessories. 50% off all remaining patio furniture. Only Friday, 6 p.m. to Monday, Labor Day, 6 p.m. Just 25 hours to save at Ennis Drexel Heritage, Richland.
Nearly a full moon out under clear skies tonight in Yakima, with the temperature down to 64 degrees, winds coming out of the southwest at 8. Today we reached a high of 84 after a crisp morning low of 46.
Weather over the Pacific Northwest has been doing a balancing act between fair sky high pressure located to the east of us and changing weather conditions, upper level low pressure that's circulating out of the Gulf of Alaska. Today and likely tomorrow, the high pressure to the east of us over the Rockies will win the battle, giving us mostly fair skies. Westerly flow, though, will continue in the western part of the state, bringing marine influences on the shore. It means low clouds and fog and cooler temperatures. The upper level low located south of the Queen Charlottes should begin to move about Friday, move to the north of us across British Columbia, circulate some clouds here east of the Cascades, but not too much of a chance for any rainstorm or rain shower activity. As we look ahead to the weekend, the eastern part of the country looks as though it's going to be getting the moisture, especially in conjunction with the tropical storm now located in the Caribbean off the southeast.
Looks like great pre-weekend stuff for the Yakima Valley, with fair skies expected tomorrow and again on Friday. Look for daytime highs in the mid-80s and overnight down to 40 to 45 with variable winds and a 10% standing chance of rain. Across the northwest tonight it is clear in Seattle with 57 degrees, 63 under clear skies in Spokane, and it's partly cloudy in Portland with 66 degrees. Turning to sports this evening, contenders are beginning to fall at the U.S. Open Tennis Championships in New York. 10th seeded Gabriela Sabatini was ousted this afternoon. The Argentine teenager fell to Barbara Potter 6-4, 6-2. Also in opening matches today, 6th seeded Zina Garrison stopped Barbara Gerke 7-5, 6-3. Earlier today, top seeded Chris Everett Lloyd beat Jamie Thompson as expected of Australia in straight sets 6-1, 6-3. Now the reigning queen of the U.S. Open, Martina Navratilova, began her bid for a third straight title by a victory over Pascale Paradis. Navratilova won the match 6-2, 6-1. In other action this afternoon in New York, There you see 4th-seeded Pam Shriver beat Tina Larson of Denmark 6-3, 6-3. And 6th-seeded Zina Garrison beat Barbara Gherkin, as I said earlier, 7-5, 6-3. 11th-seed Steffi Graf of West Germany beat Patty Fendrick 6-4, 1-6, 7-5. And 13th-seed Katrina Lindquist beat Melissa Gurney 6-love, 6-1. On the men's side today, second-seeded Ivan Lendl beat Jay Lapidus 6-2, 6-1, 6-3. And 4th-seeded Jimmy Connors over Gary Mueller, South Africa, 6-4, 6-3, 4-6, 6-2. 5th-seeded Kevin Kern lost to Guy Forguit of France, 6-7, 6, 6-2, 6-1. And 7th-seeded Yannick Noah of France beat Jeremy Bates of Great Britain, 6-3, 7-6, 6-3. Tomorrow's action pits Hanna Mandlikova of Czechoslovakia against Annabelle Croft of Great Britain. Also, Andrea Villagran, that is, of Argentina against Claudia Cole-Kilch of West Germany. In tomorrow night's action, Chris Everett Lloyd plays Raffaella Reggi of Italy. Those start at 4:30 Pacific time. And on the men's side, McEnroe plays Wostenholm of Canada. Those start at 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning. In Major League Baseball tonight, the Seattle Mariners were idle, but earlier today, there were only 7 games played tonight. Earlier today in the American League, Toronto missed a chance to widen its lead, that is, in the American League East by losing to Minnesota 6-5 in 10 innings. The Blue Jays are now 4.5 games ahead of New York in the AL East. In games tonight, Kansas City beat Milwaukee 8-2 and Cleveland over Boston 7-4. The White Sox beat Texas by 4 runs, and in 10 innings, Minnesota over Toronto 6-5, as I said. In the National League, in 12 innings, Cincinnati clipped St. Louis by 1, and Atlanta over Pittsburgh 6-1. One more game in the National League tonight. Houston beat the Chicago Cubs by 3-0. There's been a trade in the NFL already. The Seattle Seahawks sent defensive end Sam Clancy to the Cleveland Browns for a draft choice. Clancy's from the University of Pittsburgh. He was drafted by Seattle in '82, but spent that season on the reserved list. Clancy has gotten most of his pro experience in the USFL. The Seahawks dropped to 51 players yesterday. One of those cut from the roster was 14-season vet Reggie McKenzie. KIRO TV of Seattle has the story.
Earlier this summer, Reggie McKenzie said this would be his final season in the National Football League. But yesterday, Coach Chuck Knox told Reggie that he wouldn't be playing for the Seahawks in 1985.
You know, I have no hard feelings, man. I gave it everything I had. I like to think that due to the circumstances in terms of numbers and really the glut of ball players around, that Reggie McKenzie won't get the chance right now to be able to play his 14th and final year.
Reggie had some great moments during his career, including blocking for O.J. Simpson when he broke the 2,000-yard rushing mark. And Reggie carried Chuck Knox off the field after that big win in Miami.
I'll never forget that Miami ball game that, you know, coming here to Seattle my first year. These guys hadn't even been in the playoffs. And to go as far as they did that particular year and the feeling that was on the field, that particular ball game, I'll never forget.
Reggie will remain in the Seattle area for the time being. He may take a job with the Hawk organization. And if the Hawks have injury problems this season, Reggie says he'll stay in shape because Chuck Knox says he may need him.
Finally tonight in sports, what you're about to see took 4 hours preparation for less than a minute's worth of flair. Pool shark Jean the Glove Cartran has come up with the ultimate pool trick using 3 tables, 61 pool balls, and 2,000 to 3,000 dominoes. Catron has devised the greatest party stunt. See for yourself.
Russell, it's perfect. That's perfect.
Got to be the best pictures of the night. When we return, we'll take a look at some fine pictures from outer space, Halley's Comet.
Hey, Vernon, I just got one word for you, Vernon. Just one word. New cars. Your Northwest Ford dealer has got them wall to wall. Dream machines. Cream de la cream. Price to sell. Your Northwest Ford dealer, Vern, they are #1. Next time, talk to your old buddy Ernest first. Because if your Northwest Ford dealer ain't got it, you don't need it. Know what I mean?
Now get 7.7% financing or up to $1,000 cash back at your Northwest Ford dealers.
Bi-Mart members, if you've been meaning to use your coupons, now's the time. Get extra savings on items you use every day. Capture your summer memories on Kodak color print film. CP 135 24 exposures, just $2.39 a roll with your Bi-Mart coupon. And PD Magnetics VHS video cassettes from DuPont, now $5.88 with your Bi-Mart coupon. After rebate, only $3.88. For extra savings, use your coupons now. But hurry, this sale ends Saturday at Bi-Mart.
Bi-Mart for your money at Bi-Mart.
Folks from all over are coming to celebrate Safeway's Western Days. Bring the kids. And what a barn full of savings Safeway has for you. Like Sea Trader Chunk Tuna. The 6.5-ounce cans are priced at just 49 cents each. Nallie's Chili, special at just 59 cents for the 15-ounce can. And MD Bathroom Tissue, also on sale. The 4-pack is just 89 cents. The gigantic Western Days sale at Safeway. Don't miss it.
Safeway, America's favorite food store.
As you may have heard earlier today, the life-loving octogenarian who played Maude of Harold and Maude died late last night. Whether playing the acid-tongued mother in Every Which Way But Loose or the friendly neighborhood devil worshiper in Rosemary's Baby, actress Ruth Gordon was a favorite of those who watched the silver screen. The veteran actress died early this morning in her sleep at her summer home on Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. Gordon was 88 years old. The legendary comet, now known as Halley's, not Halley's Comet, passed over Eastern Europe early this week. Czechoslovakian astronomers took these photos of the comet, which flew over the high Tatras region. According to a NASA spokesman, professional astronomers have been watching the comet for the past 3 years using extra strong telescopes. In the United States, Halley's Comet is visible if you have a powerful telescope. Amateurs with equipment of less strength can expect to see the comet beginning in October. Starting in November or December, a pair of good binoculars will suffice. And by next spring, say about March or April, you should be able to spot Halley's with the naked eye. Thanks for joining us this evening. That's all we have time for. Would like to remind you that tomorrow evening, due to the Kickoff Classic, our early news will be very early, 90 minutes earlier, beginning at 4:25. Have a good evening.
There's a feeling in the air. Something that tells you the time is close. A feeling that something exciting is about to happen. Ski-A-Rama, the pre-season sale that guarantees the lowest prices on top-name equipment and fashion. Beginning this Saturday, Labor Day weekend. Sunset Sports Center, Ski-A-Rama. Follow the feeling.
There's a number of reasons to choose an Isuzu over Toyota, Nissan, and Honda, like the lowest priced economy pickup in Central Washington, Isuzu Pup, priced at $57.89 and low 8.6 financing. Looking for a new sports car? Check out the new Isuzu Impulse, a performance punch of Porsche without the high price tag. Impulse, exclusive at Sunfair Isuzu. The prices will surprise you. Come in tomorrow and test drive Isuzu Pup, priced at $57.89. With all that's going on for Sunfair Isuzu, it's no wonder we're tough to beat.
Tonight's CBS late movie, Uncle Joe Shannon, starring Burt Young and Doug McKeon, will begin right after the following CBS Sports special presentation.